Hello and welcome to the program. I'm your host, Neil Howard, here on Health Professional Radio. Glad that you could join us once again. Our guests are Jennifer and Dan Digmann, a married couple who are joining us on the program today to talk about their life as they both are living with multiple sclerosis. Dan is living with relapsing-remitting MS, while Jennifer was diagnosed with progressive MS. Welcome to the program, both Jennifer and Dan Digmann. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Right. Good to be here.
Well, you're a married couple. You're both living with MS, two different types. How did you all get together? What circumstances drew two people living with MS together?
Well, back in the day, I was involved with the National Multiple Sclerosis Society in planning a program to help women reclaim their goals and their dreams and their hopes that they put on hold after being diagnosed with MS. Mm-hmm. And a number of men started registering for the program. And one of those men happened to be this very cute man sitting over here right next to me.
Right. And I think, they had forgot to put on the program that it was supposed to be for women only. And so they ended I had gotten a call from somebody with the National MS Society because I led a self-help group, and I think she was just hoping to get more men to attend. And when I got there, she said, well, why don't you go and sit over there at Jennifer's table? She's younger, and you both have MS, and you might have a lot to talk about. And, so when Jennifer came up to the table, I was just like, I really need to get to know this girl. So it kind of started from there, really.
And ever since then, we've been together. So a program with the National MS Society, which is one of the things that Dan and I always encourage people, because MS can be kind of an isolating disease when you're first diagnosed, is get involved, reach out to the community. And there's so much support, especially now that they're reporting that nearly 1 million people in the United States are living with MS. So there is support from the community.
Dan, how does your MS differ from your wife's? And as someone who's not living with MS, I thought that MS was MS. Enlighten me and my listeners.
There's they classify it. There's 3 different levels, and there's it just becomes really more the relapsing-remitting and progressive MS. I have relapsing-remitting, meaning, what they think MS is like an autoimmune disease where your immune system is attacking your central nervous system, where the myelin sheath around your nerve that it attacks it, and then when it heals, it scars over. And so that's what happens is it weakens the signal from your nervous system to your limbs. And so that's why, over time, the more attacks, then the signals aren't going. It's I can walk and everything. Jennifer's in a wheelchair. I've never known her to walk in, 17 years, because the signals aren't going from her brain to her legs to say, you need to move. And so with the relapsing remitting, it's you have flare-ups or episodes, and then you go into remission, and then you're not there, you're just not actively being affected, whereas with progressive MS, you basically are attacked and there's no levels of remission. It's just constantly doing damage. I mean, but they say that, they're right now I'm in, quote unquote remission, but I mean, there's still activity, I'm still, there's always progression. Just depending on where in your central nervous system things are being affected.
Jennifer, talk about the support that you all give to each other. As Dan described to me, you're in a wheelchair. He's in remission. You have progressive MS where you're always in the wheelchair. Is that condition going to get progressively worse?
Yeah, potentially. Mm-hmm. I think one of the best things about having my husband as my caregiver is Dan's a positive person. Mm-hmm. And we both are living with the disease, and we try and focus on what we can do to stay as healthy as possible. just to keep the disease kind of, it's part of our life, but we don't want to make it the main focus. Mm-hmm. And Dan, as my caregiver, helps me with things, simple things like getting dressed, or sometimes I have a difficult time getting a fork to my mouth when I'm eating, and he helps with that. But then at the same token, if Dan needs help getting things from the grocery store, I'm not working, so I'm more able to go do things like that. Or, I have a caregiver during the day while Dan is working. So I just am able to help him, and he's able to help me. I think that support, and just emotional. We both belong to a support group, and some of the members of our support group are not jealous, but they're a little, because we have someone with time that understands what we're going through, where we talk about a symptom and our spouses totally understand it, because a lot of the symptoms of multiple sclerosis you can't see, the numbness and the tingling or the fatigue, and having a spouse who's living with the same thing, he understands what I'm dealing with, and vice versa.
With that type of support, that live-in, right there all the time support that you say, I can see where someone would say, I wish I had what they have. You do a blog that talks about the support that you give each other, and I'm guessing that because you have each other, the support that you suggest to others would be, I guess, kind of a double whammy. A lot of people write books about, supporting whatever they're dealing with to others, but it's just them by themselves. But you've got each other. So I guess that comes out in your blog and your radio show as well.
And I think that works. And I think, it all sounds well and good, having somebody that understands. But, when one of us, if we both get sick, or if I get sick, we're in a world of hurt then, because I'm not able to, to help Jennifer with transfers. I mean, I was sick earlier this year, and, her mom and brother had to come up and help with Jennifer. And so, there's that. But, we like to use the blog and the radio show just, in terms of like sharing our experiences to hopefully help others and give them tips and ideas for ways that they can, find the support they need, or ways that they can, rise above the disease.
And for as much as we talk about what we're going through, it's really nice that other people feel comfortable in sharing their stories with us, because as much as we offer, we receive in return. It's really nice to have that community that supports us as well as we support it.
Now, I understand that a few years back you were inducted into the National MS Society Volunteer Hall of Fame for Advocacy. That's a high honor. What would you tell someone who's been newly diagnosed? You were diagnosed, Jennifer, back in, I think 97, I think, or something like that. And you a bit more recently, Dan. What would you say to that person who's just been diagnosed and they're still in shock?
I would say these are, give yourself time. Because it is a major shock and a major adjustment to make, but at the same time, keep moving forward, connect yourself with other people, and just learn more. And, Jennifer always talks about knowledge being power. It's just like the more you know, the more empowered you are. It's like don't sit back and shelter yourself and isolate yourself. I think, with our diagnoses, my diagnosis, Jennifer's diagnosis, we can talk about, okay, well, we found each other, got married, inducted into the Hall of Fame, and doing this, writing a book. None of that would have been possible had we closed ourselves off and not gotten involved, not build a community, not build a support system to make that happen. I always tell people, don't give the disease more credit than it deserves. And it's just like, just keep moving forward. And, a lot of times the things that we deal with MS, if we talk about, I dropped something, or obviously there's MS that makes you do that. But the reality is people who don't have MS drop things too. I think don't claim exclusivity over these things that everyone experiences. I mean, yes, the MS is encouraging that, but it's like, believe in yourself, more than, you're stronger than the disease, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. Very well said. I thank you both for joining us on the program this morning. It's been a pleasure, been an honor. Both Dan and Jennifer Digmann, thanks for joining us. And I'm hoping that we'll talk again, hopefully as MS Day 2020 approaches. I mean, we just missed it with March 28th of this year, I do believe.
Well, that was Progressive MS Day on March 28th. Which is a day to honor those of us living with progressive MS. But as Dan likes to say, we live with the disease all year round, so we stay active. We get involved in advocacy. And on Progressive MS Day, we were all about, I don't want to say all about, but we were really reaching out to our community through social media and just reaching out to family and friends just because we want to say that we got this. We have multiple sclerosis, but we are trying to move forward.
Well, again, I thank both of you. And listeners, be sure and visit danandjenniferdigmann.com to check out their blog and get some more information. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
Thanks for having us, Neil.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Transcripts and audio of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au.
Thank you for listening to Health Professional Radio. We're very proud to be an independent broadcaster providing our content free of charge to you, the listener. One of the ways that we're able to remain free and independent is by having people like you become patrons. You can support Health Professional Radio simply by visiting hpr.fm and clicking the button that says Become a Patron. Your patronage of even just $1 a month lets us know that you're there, which in turn makes us more valuable to advertisers. And, of course, if you're able to afford more, then we would certainly appreciate the support. My name is Toby Longhurst from Health Professional Radio. Please visit hpr.fm, click the Become a Patron button, and support us if you can.